everyone, it's Gojira Prime here with a little video, and today I want to just go over a little bit of news into TFnation for 2026 for their main event in August. But first of all, as always, I do have a Facebook page, Gojira Prime, where I do post images of the figures in my collection, links to any videos I do, and anything else I do find of interest. So if you do have the time, do please find the page, hit like, hit subscribe, and do feel free to comment on anything I do post. So we've had a couple of guest announcements for the main event for TFnation in July, August of 2026. And I just wanted to run through that with you. So the first bit of news is that the first guest they've announced is Scott Brownlee. And Scott Brownlee served as a sound engineer on both the original Sunbow cartoon and 1986's fan favourite, The Transformers the Movie. This role saw him working in the booth with director Wally Burr as the actors put their immortal lines onto tape. He's also the person behind the mixing and editing that created the iconic distorted Soundwave voice as reported by voice actor Frank Welker. So this is the guy who came up with the idea for Soundwave's voice in the Transformers franchise, at least in the G1 era anyway. Away from Transformers, Brownlee is currently a recording arts lecturer in the School of Film and Television in Los Angeles. Following his retirement from UCLA, you might also have encountered his handiwork on other animated properties through the 80s and 90s, such as Muppet Babies, The Tick, G.I. Joe, The Revenge of Cobra, and the Little Mermaid series. And you can see there as well, there's a nice list of series he's done: Tick, Gem and the Holograms, Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines, Inhumanoids, Muppet Babies, Rude Dog, and The Dweebs. Now, out of all of those shows, I have watched some G.I. Joe. I've never watched The Tick, never watched Gem and the Holograms, although I have heard of it. I have watched Bigfoot and the Muscle Machines many, many years ago. Obviously, I'm familiar with My Little Pony. I'm familiar with Inhumanoids, but I've never watched it. But I think it's one of them fringe franchises that everyone's heard about, but very few people have ever actually seen. So it'll be interesting to get his take on what was going on behind the scenes when they were making Transformers and how they came up with some of the sound effects. And I have to admit, as I'm getting older, I am finding this side of things a lot more interesting. So yeah, really looking forward to getting his perspective on things. The other piece of news, which is going to make Transformers Prime fans very happy, is that Darren Norris, who played Knockout in Transformers Prime and also Heavy Load in Robots in Disguise, is also going to be at the convention. So you'll know Dan Morris from his and his voice skills from his Knockout performances as Cosmo in The Fairly Odd Parents, Kai Adi Mundi in Star Wars The Clone Wars, as well as several characters across the Spider-Man franchise. Moviegoers will also recognize his voice as that of Spotswood from the Team America World Police movie. I remember watching that film. Wow. For us robot fans, Norris's time voicing Cybertronians began with 2001's Robots in Disguise as Heavy Load, who, if I remember correctly, was one of the build team. He also went on to feature for both sides in the Transformers Armada video game as Red Alert and Cyclonus. More recently, he returned to in Transformers Earthspark as Mr. Smelt. I've not watched Earthspark, so I don't know who that is. Of course, amongst all his roles, Norris is best known to Transformers fans as everyone's favourite automobile aficionado and medical expert from Transformers Prime, Knockout. And, Knockout was one of the breakout characters from Transformers Prime. Dreadwing was another, to say the least. But I think, along with Bulkhead, but I think it's safe to say that Knockout was a particularly popular character in the Transformers franchise because of Prime and this guy's voice acting. So Prime is my second favorite of the Transformers Prime series, so I'm really looking forward to getting Darren Norris's take on the series and his role, and if he was surprised by just how popular Knockout became. He's also done quite a lot of other things, at least sticking with the animation roles. He's going to be known to people from Time Squad. He did a whole load of voices from that. He was also in a series called Oswald, Samurai Jack, which is one of the best series I think ever made. He played quite a few different characters in that. He also had a role in The Fairly Odd Parents, Powerpuff Girls, Codename Kids Next Door, What's New Scooby-Doo, Star Wars The Clone Wars. He played several characters in that. He was in he did a couple episodes of Johnny Bravo. The Life and Times of Juniper Lee, not familiar with that one myself. There's basically a whole, a massive load of series this guy has done. Turbo Fast. So yeah, he's done quite a lot of TV series out there, to say the least, and also numerous anime series as well. He's one of these voice actors. He's been in absolute loads, and you probably didn't even realize it was him. He was in Akira. He played the gym teacher in Akira. I think I remember. Was that the one who was shouting "discipline, discipline, discipline" to people and whacking them over the head? I can't remember. He was in Cowboy Bebop. I think that's one of the best animated series of all time. Probably one of the best TV series of all time. He did Outlaw Star. Again, another fantastic series. What else? Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex. He played a character called Nano. He was in Second Gig as well. He's done too much stuff. There's too much stuff just to run through everything here. But suffice it to say, he's done a lot of voice acting over the years. Some of it you will have heard of, some of it you will not have heard of. But I think, really interesting to have him up there, especially for his role in Transformers Prime. I'm going to have to maybe think of some questions now as what to ask both of these gentlemen when they do come to the convention. But let me know in the comments section, are you going to TFnation 2026? Or are you not? Maybe you should. Let me know in the comments section. And thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Bye-bye.